Okay, founder Eric, I am super excited about your startup, and I am close to deciding to invest. One last question. How much cap table has been sold?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, venture capitalist Janel. We've only raised seed capital and have sold about 50% of the cap table to date.
Oh, would you look at the time? You know what? I need to start packing for my trip to Ibiza. See you later. Founders, today we are going to talk about cap tables and how much you should target selling before the Series A, and what it might mean if you oversell your cap table.
The basic idea of a cap table is a list of shareholders and their respective ownership. This is a really helpful tool for investors to see how much earlier investors actually own a given startup in particular.
All right, let's get right to the point. What is the right amount of cap table for a founder to sell prior to the Series A?
I like the framing of that question because let's just focus on the seed stage and what a healthy cap table should look like by the time a Series A investor is thinking about investing in your company. Basically, about 30% of a cap table sold to investors is a great target for founders prior to the Series A.
Okay, so let's go through an example here. For easy math, let's say that founder, Eric, has only raised $300,000 in his seed raise, previously at a 1 million post-money valuation. 300K divided by 1 million is essentially 30% of the cap table sold at this point. So if he's going to raise a big Series A, he should be mostly fine?
Yeah, that's basically right. Now, there are other nuances and such, but this is the simplest way to think about how much ownership of a startup has been sold to investors to date. Janelle, do you have any sense of what happens if a founder sells closer to 40 or 50% or more of the cap table by the time they try to raise a Series A?
Yes, I can definitely see a problem. This might be considered a dirty or oversold cap table at that point. A Series A investor might see too much equity sold in the business and might worry that there is not enough equity left for venture capitalists in the future to buy substantial enough ownership in the business. Or they would have to help the founder reset the cap table ownership structure by reducing the ownership of the previous investors, which is something no one likes to do.
That is correct. Even if the founder is super awesome and the business is doing great, a lazy VC might look at the cap table and say that they just don't want to bother doing the work and will instead invest in a different talented founder who has a cleaner cap table.
Okay, this all sounds simple, but is it actually hard for founders to track how much ownership they have sold in their seed raises?
Surprisingly, yes. If you start to mess with, let's say, pre-money Y Combinator safes, which have strange conversions of ownership at the Series A, or maybe you raise tons of safes at varying valuations, this can get really confusing for a founder, and they might discover that they have accidentally oversold their cap table.
The best way to avoid this, founders, is to use a standard YC post-money valuation safe. This makes it super easy to track how much ownership you are selling with each raise.
Yeah, so let's do a quick example here. If founder Janelle raises $100,000 at a $1 million valuation, she has basically sold 10% of her company to investors at that point. Then she raises $200,000 later at a $2 million valuation. She has sold another 10%. So let's combine the two. 10% plus 10% is 20%. If she were using super clean and basic Y Combinator post-money safes, she should be able to easily track how much of her cap table has been sold at that point. I think you get the idea.
To reiterate, founders, target selling no more than about 30% of your cap table by the time you hit your Series A. Up to 40% might be okay, but less is always better.
And a parting commentary. You are all beautiful and unique snowflakes, but VCs also see a lot of beautiful snowflakes every day. They would prefer to work with a team that has a clean cap table rather than clean up a messy situation. Messiness might be just enough for them to pass on investing.
Founders, Any advice for how you were able to manage an oversold cap table for a fundraise? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Uncapped Notes.